Hello and welcome to the Brick News, the weekly show on all things brick building where we talk about set updates and announcements from all the major brands, MOCs of the week, and a few reading recommendations as well. Information is presented as always by setdp.org, the best source for set information on the internet, and we are closing in on 21,000 sets. We are still at 63 brands, but actually at this point in time I'm trying to bring this a little bit more together, and sometimes I bundle brands. There are several companies, especially in China, who run under the same company several brands, so actually that's why I do believe number of brands is not going to grow that much going forward as it used to be in the past, because like I said, I try to structure this slightly different nowadays. Anyhow, closing in on 21,000 sets, but with that we are starting with Balody as the first brand we are talking about this week. And here we have 4 sets where we have over here in the European Union at least availabilities now, and these are Christmas Village sets, 21145 from Balody up to 48. So 4 sets overall, all in diamond blocks, so pretty tiny sets, and actually with almost 700 pieces, most of them, actually one is even beyond 700 pieces over here in Europe, and that as always includes VAT or value add tax, is just $10, because these pieces are tiny, believe me, but I think that could be a great thing, because not everyone has that amount of space as like regular sets and regular brick size may take up. So if you're in the market for tiny sets with the Christmas theme, so I guess you can get a lot of building fun for the money out of these sets. So we have 4, and like I said, 4 Christmas Village sets, basically buildings, snow covered, Christmas theme, and like I said, it's overall 4 buildings of this type. They of course do not include minifigures, because there are no minifigures in this size. I mean, the other brick size mini bricks, which is kind of in between. Mini bricks is basically to the scale of regular bricks, like Lego Duplo is on the upper end. There are mini bricks, let's say, below regular bricks, but diamond bricks are entirely different games. So usually that's why you don't have minifigures there. While with mini bricks, some mini brick manufacturers also make figures, but diamond blocks, at least I've never seen one. I mean, there's brickbuild stuff, but no actual figures. But like I said, 4 sets now available, at least over here in Europe. Haven't seen them yet with any Chinese retailers, and in the States not as well. With that, we're moving on to BlueBrixx themselves, means sets that they are selling under their own brand over here from Europe. And here we have a ton of announcements around basically flowers, like single flowers. Usually these sets come between 100 and 200 pieces. And we have, I don't know, I mean, I will go briefly through them. So we have like lilies and daffodils. Daffodils? I don't know if that is pronounced correct. Roses, tulips, all in different colors and shapes and forms. I really like the box art that BlueBrixx is going for. Like they have these hand-painted images in the background. Actually, nowadays, you don't even know if, any human hand was involved in this at all. I mean, this could be entirely AI generated, unfortunately, nowadays. But I like to think that there is an artist behind that. At least I do hope so. It's a nice thought, let's put it that way. There's even a black rose in this collection. And like I said, it's a ton of them, and BlueBrixx has just announced them. And going forward, I guess in the next couple of weeks, we will get prices. My guess is, I guess like something like $8 maybe. That would be my guess, but who knows? With that, we're moving on to 3 new announcements around the BlueBrixx Play series. So these are the kit sets, basically what Lego calls Lego City nowadays. I mean, they've been calling the city for quite a while, but you know what I'm talking about. And for instance, we have here the emergency rescue set 108285, 3 minifigs, 299 pieces, basically a rescue vehicle, to rescue people. And I guess this guy just had an accident with his bicycle and is getting rescued. Awesome. Then we have the canine training set, the 107738, 2 police officers and a dog. I mean, a lot of folks, you should know, BlueBrixx is a German brand. And these police officers clearly look like US police officers, which is awesome. A lot of folks like that, but still the question is, why are they doing this? I don't know. It's like when last year they had a fire brigade set, and these fire brigade or firemen looked like Chinese firemen, and everybody was wondering what is going on here. But I guess that's fine. I guess US police uniforms have a bit of an international vibe and should go very well in most countries. Plus, as somebody from the community pointed out, obviously that is also what Lego has been going for, so this could be the reason. Anyhow, no matter where you live, you have 2 police officers. Actually, no, I think, yeah, it's 2 female police officers and a police rescue dog or police dog. Then we have a traffic control set. This is the smallest one, just 6 pieces, and a minifig, 107737. And no, it's actually 2 minifigs. And one of those dudes looks like, what is going on with the eyes? They look very, very dark. Not really 100% sure what BlueBrixx is going for here. Anyhow, you have 2 police officers and 66 pieces, which is basically, yeah, traffic control setup plus a little bit of green stuff, foliage. With that, we're moving on to Cobi, and here we now have, at least over in Europe, I think BlueBrixx over in the US has them still on pre-order, but over here in Europe, we have now available the Afro Lancaster B3 Dambuster. So that's the executive edition of the set. I think I did talk about this set in the past. I did. And now officially available with multiple retailers over here in Europe. So in the UK, it is in the Amazon Marketplace. In the Union, it is available over at BlueBrixx. And like I said, in North America, looking forward to this one as well. BlueBrixx, I think, has them on pre-order for around $140 US. So like I've reported in the past, we have 2 of these sets. The Dambusters were like a special operations unit in the Royal Air Force at the time, and the airplane is actually slightly different because they had a different concept, basically to bust dams. So that's also, I think, why the entire bomb setup is differently designed. So this is more than just, okay, you have an additional minifigure. It's actually a slightly different airplane. Anyhow, with that, we're moving on to the regular set, which is now also available over here in Europe, starting from $110, and BlueBrixx has them on pre-order in the US for $128. So basically like $15 cheaper, more or less. And like I said, it is a slightly different airplane. It has a different bombing concept, if you will, because this is a regular Lancaster designed to bomb German cities and not dams. Anyhow, both now available. And the same is true for the German propelled howitzer, Panzerhaubitze 2000-2628. This is again a collaboration with the German Tank Museum, and again over here available in Europe, but not yet in the US. Anyhow, moving on to the Russian or Soviet tank T-34-76 modification from 1941 in the snow white color scheme, 2595, and again, same situation. Over here in Europe, we have it available. In the US, still on pre-order. Nevertheless, for all of you from Europe, you may order these now going forward. With that, we're moving on to something that is slightly more international, or at least for everybody the same, and that is Funwhole. We now have 3 sets that are officially available from Funwhole. I did report on these before, but they were just with a couple of Chinese retailers. Now all the information that we have is official. So first, the Western or West train station 9039. Obviously, this one is supposed to go with the train that they released a couple of weeks ago. I did build the train. I do not intend to build the train station. However, I think it's a beautiful set. I did talk about this one before. It has 1,974 pieces, 5 minifigs, and you can order this from Funwhole directly for $120. However, as always, like I've said in the past, keep in mind, Funwhole also usually has more like the main distribution channel of Funwhole in Europe and North America is Amazon. So I would recommend, in general, always recommend to wait until they have it in store with Amazon. So Amazon will take care of the shipment because you will get the set a lot faster compared to ordering it directly from China. Plus, usually it is cheaper, actually a lot cheaper. And I think we have Prime Days around the corner, so I would look out for that. With that, we're moving on to 9040 Forge House. So this is the next set from the medieval series of Funwhole, 1,595 pieces, and you can order this now from Funwhole directly for roughly $107 US, 6.7 cents a piece. Same story though, I would wait until it's available at Amazon. With that, we're moving on to the training ground. So this is a slightly smaller castle set, and also from a concept, I would say, slightly different because it has a lot of minifigures compared to the piece count. 964 pieces, a horse, and 6 minifigs. And actually, for me, the most astonishing thing is the concept of the horse, because as you can see, basically with all the coloring that is directly printed on the horse, that's actually quite an interesting concept. But yeah, overall, 6 minifigs and a small, tiny castle, if you will. Of course, this is supposed to go with the other castle sets of Funwhole. With that, we're moving on to a JIESTAR, and here we now have a new set, actually, that I at least haven't seen before, coming up in, or I've seen this in with Chinese retailers, but we are in this case the JIESTAR coffee shop in 89120. This bad boy has 2,987 pieces. It's basically in a modular format. However, I think here's a number. Yeah, it's 28.5 centimeters, basically, or 28. So for those of you who are imperial, I don't know what this is in inches, at least not off my head. But what I can tell you is that 25.5 centimeters is 32 studs. So a 32 by 32 base plate is 25.5 centimeters. So here it says 28. My guess is, if you look at it, it's still 32 by 32 studs, so regular, like a modular building, regular base plate, but my guess is in the 28 centimeters is all the foliage here on the side. So that's something to keep an eye on if you want to buy this and basically put this on a shelf together with regular modular buildings. This may not fit with every modular, simply again because of the foliage. Obviously you can change that, just remove it, or maybe, and also you see the small balcony here on the side. So this thing has overhang in a nutshell, right? However, it may go with some, for instance, Lego like boutique hotel. It could work with that, right? Because the boutique hotel is not on all 4 sides at least, getting that close. So this could be an idea. With that, we're moving on to Lego, and here we now have availability. I mean, right now, please ignore the color scheme here because it simply takes a while until the ZDB or my website is up to date with all the availabilities, but it is available in Europe. And this is Santa's delivery truck 40746. Lego is asking for 20 bucks for this one. And yeah, basically started today, October 1st. And it's one of the several Christmas sets that Lego is bringing now October 1st. I think this is also the only one I've never talked about before, but obviously, and we'll go briefly through all the Lego things that got available or became available today, because it's actually a ton, but let's go briefly through a couple of those. The rest, of course, is available 10340. No, it says pre-order. Again, like I said, not yet updated, but it's October 1st, so this thing is available for sure. Still, Lego is asking for $100 US. And then you have the, I have no idea how to pronounce this, the poinsettia? I don't know. I'm sorry, I do apologize to all native speakers. I have no idea how to pronounce that. In German, it's Weihnachtsstern, FYI. You may not know that. Anyhow, 10370 now also October 1st launched, $50 US. And then you have Santa's Post Office, of course, I guess, as always, the crown jewel, the Winter Village collection set of every Christmas wave by Lego, and now also available for the 1,440 pieces, 5 minifigs. You're going to pay $100. I think that is roughly what they asked for in the past, right? Let's go to the Alpine Lodge from last year. This fella was also $100 US, and same minifigure count, slightly more pieces, but I guess that's semantics. So yeah, long story short, Santa's Post Office now available as well. And then, of course, Lego Batman, the classic TV series Batmobile 76328. So if you want to have the 60s vibe of Batman in your living room, this may be for you. There's already a ton of reviews out, like BlueBrixx fans has one, Alex has one, and Racing Brick. So if you're not sure yet, go check it out. Available for $150 now as well. Then we have actually 2 new announcements. These are, I think, I may be wrong here, but I think these are the first announcements for January 1st. Obviously, me personally, I'm waiting for all the Star Wars announcements from January 1st. There's a ton of leaks out there, but obviously I want confirmation by Lego, so please, Lego, go ahead. But there are 2 announcements for Sonic. Sonic's Campfire Clash 77001. This bad boy will have 177 pieces, and Lego is asking for 20 bucks. That's not That's not let's say, that's not really a bargain. 11.3 cents a piece, but you have, of course, a Sonic minifigure in there. But on the other hand, this minifigure has been in a ton of sets. And again, for me, this is a kit set, right? You can play with these. In general, I like the concept of the entire Sonic line that they do have. And the minifigure is amazing, but still $20 for such a small set. And then you have Sonic the Hedgehog Super Shadow versus Bio Lizard. And the lizard looks actually quite interesting. 77003, $45 though, for basically a small lizard and 2 figures. That's again not too shabby. Also a January 1st set. And then we have a gift with purchase, the Fortnite Bright Bomber for 40728. So let me just check the box art. Yes, this is an official BlueBrixx, but my understanding is, but please keep me honest here in the comment section, my understanding is that LEGO is not intending to sell these, but these are basically a gift with purchase. That's my understanding. Anyhow, again, we have several reviews out there. LEGO decided, I guess in this case, to go with all the recognized fan media that are actually blogs. So New Elementary, Brothers Brick, and Bricks fans here as well. As always, I would try to collect, at least from the larger outlets, all the reviews for all the new sets. And then Fortnite, of course, the other 3 sets available now as well. For instance, the Battle Bus 77073. I think over here in Europe, I think this thing is exclusive, as far as I can tell. Anyhow, LEGO is asking for $100 for the bus. I guess the most interesting thing about this set is the minifigure lineup, because I think there are like 9 minifigures in this one. The bus of itself is, of course, also quite iconic, but if you look at it from the brick build design, it's actually pretty standard LEGO city size, in quotes, bus, but I guess it has a pretty iconic design. Minifigures are quite cool. And another example is the Llama 77071, now also available October 1st. With that, we're moving on to Wednesday, LEGO Wednesdays, and its Storm Room, for instance, 76781. Again, more Wednesday sets are available. I just picked these two, $90. Nothing has changed in that regard, still 12 cents a piece. And then one of my personal highlights for the October 1st line, Wednesday Addams figure. And most and foremost, not because I'm a Wednesday fan or Addams Family fan for that matter, but because there are so cool pieces in there. It's quite amazing, especially the new colors and everything. So I'm really looking forward for LEGO to put some of these pieces on the Pick a Brick wall, or on LEGO Pick a Brick on Lego.com, because there's quite some amazing stuff in there. Anyhow, for the set, LEGO is asking for $50, which I think is quite cool. I think $50, and you should have quite some building fun with this one. It has 700 pieces. And then, of course, Star Wars 40755 is now available. That's technically, I think, the only Star Wars set October 1st, because Jabba's sail barge is October 3rd, I think, officially, which is a public holiday over here in Germany, so I can't buy it, but I do intend to make a visit to the LEGO store October 4th. 40755. And nothing has changed here. Still 6 minifigures, kind of a battle pack, but it's LEGO exclusive, so at least for me, not that interesting. But the R2 unit, of course, or the Astromech, it's not an R2, the Astromech is quite interesting. Really looking forward to have one of these, but it could be quite pricey, because if the set is exclusive, I'm pretty sure not too many Bricklink shops will actually part out this one here. But yeah, it has 6 minifigures in there, plus the droid. And then we have the Wicked sets, of course, also now available. It's quite a while ago that I did report on these. 75684. I think they have been announced for quite a while. And I think over here in Europe, these go into retail. So I think it should be in other regions of the world as well. Still, price is $100 US. And then we have Wicked Alphaba and Linda figures, 75682, which is also, I really like these figure builds. They look really cool. However, the Wednesday one, I think, is more interesting from the parts point of view. However, look at this bush element in reddish brown. That is quite amazing as well. So a couple of cool pieces in here as well. However, $55 US. So I don't know. Does anyone understand the difference? I mean, Wicked is, I think, Disney, right? And Wednesday is Netflix, so maybe that's a license issue, but nevertheless, so the Wednesday set is bigger, it has more parts in that, and it has more interesting pieces, at least if you ask me, and it's cheaper. So sometimes I really don't get what Lego is doing. But here we go. If you're a Wicked fan, this may be for you. And then, of course, the Mona Lisa artwork 31213. And yeah, I'm sorry for all the fans of this set. I can't help it. But for me, this thing has a shot at being the ugliest Lego set of the year. I'm very sorry, but it's just how I feel. What can I say? However, all these gold pieces are, of course, amazing. So the frame is awesome if you look at the pieces. But I don't know, don't like the picture. And I think I've also never been a really big fan of the original, but I don't know. I really definitely don't like the brick design here. Anyhow, with that, we're moving on to Pantasy. And there we have announcement of a new set on the Pantasy side themselves. However, as you can see, at least BlueBrixx over here in Europe has already announced that they will get this thing in stock as well. The New York Yellow Cap 85017. My guess is this is a 1x18 brick build vehicle, something like that. So what Lego used to call creator expert vehicles. Actually, are these vehicles nowadays icons or are they creator expert? I don't know, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Anyhow, this thing has 1,601 pieces. This is by far not the first one that Pantasy has done. They have done a couple of very amazing sets in the past in this format. However, if I look at the pictures, at least it looks to me that you have also stickers in this one. At least if you look here on the doors, this looks to me like stickers, and these are stickers that go cross-piece. I don't know, I guess it's a matter of taste. Obviously, you can get a very clean print look across piece borders, if you will, with a sticker, better than you can ever could with a print, no matter how good your printing technique is. But still, I don't like stickers, and especially don't like them if they go across pieces. But this is how it looks like. I guess it's a compromise, but I think I would have preferred pad printed stuff. But anyhow, Pantasy, Yellow Cap, New York Cap, whatever you may call it, 1,600 pieces. $100. With that, we're moving on to TUOMU. I think that's a brand I'm not talking about that often, and they have a line of sets actually that they call space exploration. So they do have a globe in here, the 1008, $43 over with Chinese retailers. And yeah, I think it's a pretty cool globe. I don't know, there's a lot of technique involved here. So for me, it looks like there's some functionality. My guess is you can change its position. But in a nutshell, it is a globe, maybe a little bit similar to what Lego has done with the Ideas globe. But it looks, from an optical standpoint, it's very different, but I guess it's a globe. I mean, this is not the first globe that has been made by mankind, and I'm pretty sure it won't be the last. What I do think, though, is that the entire design using metallic golden pieces is actually pretty cool and pretty neat. So if that is for you, here you go. And of course, it's not a very pricey brand, so if the piece count is 1,455, we're talking about 3 cents a piece if you get it from it. But as always, keep in mind, of course, with Chinese retailers, depending on where you live in the world, your mileage may vary depending, what shipping is going to cost. I think with Bawir, the price that I put in here on the site includes shipping to Central Europe, but even that not works all the time, and shipping from China can get quite pricey, so you have to check it out yourself. Anyhow, you can still use my links though. These are affiliated, of course, but then, of course, the numbers may be very different for you. Anyhow, 505, second set from the space exploration series, and that is what they call Space Shuttle, or, I mean, I'm not even sure if they call it that way. So very often these English names are like a rough translation, so I don't know if the manufacturer actually intended to call it Space Shuttle, because it has nothing to do with the Space Shuttle for NASA. However, it may be a space shuttle, but maybe not the NASA space shuttle, you know what I'm talking about. And however, it also has some similarities. So I don't even know if they call it that like this, but it has a cool, I think, science fiction vibe, a little bit like hard fiction, which I'm always a big fan of. So yeah, I just read the Hail Mary Project book, and it's, by the way, an amazing book. So if you are into, it's kind of hard fiction, isn't it? So I'm not going to spoil anything because there are some amazing, cool things in this book. But yeah, pretty good read. I'm still thinking about if I prefer The Martian or Hail Mary. I don't know, I tensed it to the Martian because I was laughing so much while reading it that I was literally falling off the sofa. So I don't know, but it's definitely a recommendation. With that, we're moving on to a Wekki set, the Mech Panda, the 506. This is, it's a panda, it's a mech. It looks a little bit like, with the cape, it looks a little bit like Batman. And I mean, the graphics or the artwork on the face is absolutely amazing. I really like this killer panda mech. So I don't know what you need to smoke in order to come to have this idea to make a cool looking killer panda mech, but I really like it. It's 18 by 18 centimeters and 21 centimeters high, so not that big. Actually, we do have a review out for a Wekki set. I will come to this in a second. However, first we're talking about news, and here we have an update from the LEGO Ideas team. So this was already leaked or reported because a lot of the LEGO ambassadors or brand ambassadors, i.e. folks who are in the LEGO Recognized Fan Media program, I think they had their LEGO Fan Media Days, I think it is called, in Billund in Denmark. And this was already leaked out of this meeting, or maybe it was not a leak. I guess they were allowed to talk about it. Usually these folks do what LEGO tells them to do. So I'm pretty sure it was not a leak. They just told us what LEGO told them to tell us. Anyhow, now it's official. There's a blog post on the LEGO Ideas site, and LEGO is raising the number of pieces that a LEGO Ideas entry can have from 3,000 to 5,000 pieces, which is a lot. Because keep in mind that LEGO themselves not always stay below the 3,000 piece line. So for instance, if you look at the Home Alone set, again, back in the days, a LEGO Ideas entry was limited to 3,000 pieces, but LEGO then beefed this up to 4,000. Usually, LEGO goes a lot smaller than the Ideas entry, but they can go bigger. So in my point of view, and this is what I pointed out here, we may even see bigger idea sets, which also means we may see idea sets in the like $500, €500 price range, which will be interesting. But anyhow, so now you can go up to 5,000 pieces, and I think that is good news for many designers, because you could definitely tell. I mean, if I look at the entries of, let's say, recent years, there were so many ideas entries that went precisely up to 3,000 pieces, because a lot of designers saw this obviously as a limit. So I think that is good news. However, they also throw in a minimum bar, and this is 200 pieces. Technically, I guess this was just to avoid entries like, hey, I have a cool minifigure idea and I throw a dozen pieces in as well. Because personally, I can't recall that we had many or even any entries that made the 10,000 that were below 200 pieces. But I may have missed some or even a lot, but I think it's not a big deal. But I guess it cleans out the pipeline a little bit for them. And then they have also, as part of the announcement given us a guide on the ratio of minifigures to pieces. Not really sure why they did this, because as far as I can tell, when it comes to minifigures, they always did what they wanted to do and completely ignored the Ideas entry, the original one. But nevertheless, they gave us a guide, and they called it specifically a guide, so it's not, it's more like guidelines. But anyhow, so if you go up to 5,000 pieces, they recommend to go up at maximum to 14 minifigures. With that, we are moving on to two reading recommendations. So this is what I was just talking about. Wekki Poker Clown. We have a review published on our website in general. If you go to merlinsbrixx.com, or technically you can even use the shortcut zdb.org, just go up here on articles, and there you can see that we are publishing not just on our YouTube channel, but we are publishing a ton of written reviews on the site. And as you can see, we are all over the place. So we look at many, many brands like LEGO, but also other brands as well. Basically following the MerlinsBrixx formula by means we look at all the cool sets, but nevertheless, we have a review published on our first Wekki set, I think, published by Stone Garden. And she showed me the set because I produced a short for it on YouTube and TikTok, and it is such a cool set. I mean, it's not really even my cup of tea. I mean, if somebody comes to me with, a clown, something like that, it's not really my thing. But this thing is in so many ways so amazing, because this design is just... It's not the typical stuff that you get from the Europeans or Americans, right? This is not something that Mattel or Mega, would do, or LEGO or BlueBrixx or Cobi, right? This is different. This is it's so exotic in so many ways, but it looked really amazing, and the piece quality is quite amazing, I must say. It's pretty good, and there's like 70 prints in there. It's crazy. There are also stickers in there, unfortunately, but also a ton of prints, so very high quality overall. However, it's fragile as hell. So I did some of these pictures, she did most of them, but I helped her a little bit with doing pictures as well. Plus I did the short stuff like video recordings, and this thing is brittle because you have this huge clown, and it's like really massive and very heavy, and it's like attached with very few studs to this plate, which is kind of a custom piece, as you can see here. And yeah, you don't want to carry this thing around, but it looks amazing, and it's very creative and something I at least have never seen before. So quite cool, and this is also why I'm really into this panda. So I'm definitely thinking about maybe I will build it one day, because it's just, why not? Why not have a Mac Panda? Anyhow, let's move on to a review that I published on the site, the BlueBrixx Max lighting kit for the downtown diner. Yes, I know that's like a dinosaur of the Lego lineup. I think it's from 2018, but I always wanted to build it, and I've got an okay deal on the used market. So that's why I always wanted to check it out. Plus, so many folks were talking about, Lego modulars in the past and how amazing they were. And yeah, I must say it's a nice set, but here, of course, this is about the lighting kit for the 10260, and it's a BlueBrixx Max kit. I've done a ton of these, and they're always very good, very high quality. I'm a big fan of the brand. In fact, nowadays, I've switched this a lot. So in the past, I used to make my own lighting, soldering everything myself, etc., etc. Nowadays, I just go on BlueBrixx Max because the stuff just works, and it's so easy to work with, and you can easily reuse it. And because it's you can get these cables in between bricks, it's just a breeze to do this stuff. However, what was interesting, because this is an old set, the lighting kit still came in the new modern packaging that BlueBrixx Max started to use, I think, last year, with the paper bags and all this stuff and the new box design. However, the kit itself is like old school. Like, you still have the old connectors, the small ones where you need the tweezers and stuff. And also what I've actually never seen was their kits before, because I bought the first one maybe like 2-3 years ago, but this very old kit doesn't even have in between floors these connector plates. So basically you're putting cables together, plug them in between the different floors, and as a result it's not that easy anymore to put it apart as soon as you have connected everything together. This is the first time I saw that. For me personally, it's not a big deal, just keep that in mind. So I was actually glad that I looked at this older kit, because this may not be, if like me, you're more used to the modern BlueBrixx Max kits, you may not be aware that these older kits do not have this feature. So basically that means, right, if you plug everything together, you're basically stuck with the modular in the way it just, is. Even the car is just connected using a cable to the building. I'll just keep that in mind. However, the lighting result is actually pretty good. You have like a disco light on the jukebox, which is pretty cool. And you have a blinking red light on the antenna. And next to that, you just have a pretty nice light for the entire building. And with that, we're moving on to MOCs of the week. And here first we have actually a Mills road plate design by Brickman Maze, which I think Mills is always a topic that I would generally recommend to every aspiring MOC builder. I do this all the time. Usually I nowadays go with 2 bricks height, simply to make sure that I have more room to maneuver, also for electricity or Technic underbelly, if I need to, connect something very solid, like right now my Endor MOC. I have trees that are like 1 meter in height, and I want to make sure that they're connected, strongly through the foundation using Technic bars or Technic bricks. And so that's why I usually go with 2 studs nowadays, but this traditional 1 stud height Mills design is also pretty cool and a good starting point. And so it's nice that Brickman Maze here has for free, an idea concept that you can use in order to get your own concept, together. And with that, we're moving on to the Legacy Lounge by BlueBrixx. Pretty cool design. Unfortunately, no pictures with minifigures. Why, Janine? Anyhow, BlueBrixx has done this 856 pieces. This is like the first diorama mock or set that I see that has a roof. And I've never seen that before, and it's actually a great idea. It works. I mean, look at it. It's amazing. Pretty cool stuff. Of course, I think it would look a lot better with lighting. Just talking about BlueBrixx, right? So I would put in maybe a couple of light spots, but in general, it's a pretty nice design. The greebling is amazing. And yeah, I mean, it's obviously the idea is that you have the scene, you know, Han Solo sitting in front of the nav computer, Luke and Ben working with the lightsaber, and then, of course, Chewbacca pulling 3PO's arms out. No, I think he never did that, right? Anyhow. Playing chess, basically. I know it's not chess, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but it's a pretty cool design. Would really love to build this one, actually. Maybe I should get some more. I don't have any space anymore on my shelf where I have all the diorama MOCs, but maybe I should throw one out and throw this one in. I still have a few from Lego, of the Lego sets. So, for instance, the trash compactor, which doesn't even have any minifigures anymore because I did need them for another mock of mine. So maybe I will build this one. I don't know, it looks cool. And then we have, by BlueBrixx, has published, and it was actually quite interesting to me that this is already possible. So as many of you may know, the Breaking Designer program had what they called a mini build competition for the Series 3. So I think it was a competition basically, hey, build Series 3 sets as mini builds, and this one here, I guess he didn't make it in the competition, but now put it on Rebrickable, which is very, very cool to give this to us, the community, for free. And it's also pretty cool that the designers are allowed to do that, which is amazing. And yeah, now we have it. And with that, we're moving on to the Medieval Prison by Lego Bricking. Pretty cool design. I mean, it's huge, 3,529 pieces. But I think it looks quite nice. Cool design, modular. But next to the modularity of the building itself, you can also open it up, which I think is something that should get a lot more common or even become standard, because it makes things just so much easier, right? In quotes, at runtime, right? You have this thing on a shelf, you want, you know, make small changes. Maybe you need one of the minifigures that you have in the building for another project, and it's very easy to, very accessible, let's put it that way. Also, if you want to show it, you know, to have visitors, and a lot of folks usually when they come, they want to, you know, they ask questions about your MOCs and stuff. So this is quite nice. I would like to see this in a lot more MOCs and buildings. But yeah, overall, also do like the design. And then we have an Imperial ATST, great design by Brickman Studio, 672 pieces. So as far as I can tell, I think there are no size numbers, but for me, this looks like, let's say, similar size than the Lego playsets have. So not full minifigure scale, maybe not like, for instance, the brick wall design. It looks at least a little bit smaller and has only 672 pieces. I would have loved to have this one in my current Android MOC. However, I went with the Lego Hoss set and just changed it a little bit. But I think, yeah, this one is a really cool, nice and clean design, I must say. Used bricks and in snot technique for the front armor, and then for the sides more like a regular plate, wedge plate tile design, similar to what Lego does, which of course means that it's not the biggest, you know, the greatest beauty from the inside, because you have like the back side of the plates. But nevertheless, I think it's a great compromise. It looks very, very clean, studless from the outside. And still, you should be able to throw minifigures in. And then we have Droids in the Desert by Langemat. So here, it's just a concept, because I know so many people just throw their Lego sets on the shelf and that's it, and then they get dusty. But I do believe, and I think this year, because it's such a simple approach, but I think it shows already that just a few pieces and basically a base give the minifigures, or in this case, the sets, the brick build figures, whatever you may call it, so much more. And I think this is at least what I always try to go for, and not just throw stuff on the shelf. And the same is true for minifigures. It's just so much cooler if you put them in a diorama. And I guess you can see here it also 3CPO and R2 looks so much better on this shelf. But anyhow, 957 pieces. Designer is asking for $6 for the instruction. And then we have something that is really, really cool. I'm not really a technic guy, but this one is amazing, because this is a Junkers Jumo 223 with 48 pistons by WPNGLS, 695 pieces only for this aircraft engine. And yeah, this thing has 48 cylinders, which is amazing on its own. And the designer's claiming that this thing actually does work. You can put a motor on it, and it should run all the cylinders. Personally, again, not the big Technic fan, but whenever I build a car or vehicle, I'm always a big fan of the motors and, you know, just how they turn and how smooth they often run, which is amazing to me. And I just, you know, I would love to see 48 cylinders in action. So here we go. With that, we're moving on to another diorama. This case by M. Lanza 93. I'm pretty sure I pronounced this wrong. Bounty Hunters on the Executor. Bridge diorama. 428 pieces. And yes, I mean, I think personally this is one of the most iconic scenes of Star Wars, of the original trilogy, because, you know, this was the first time we saw Boba Fett. And it was just so amazing, you know, it was next to maybe Tatooine in episode 4, it was what truly introduced aliens, right? Like non-humans into the universe. And I think this one here was also great, because usually you were most of the time, I guess because it was so much easier to do this back in the day, you were seeing just most and foremost just humans. But this one here makes androids, of course, but you know what I'm talking about. This was an amazing scene, and I think this diorama depicts this scene very nicely. Personally, the entire wall design is a bit too simple to me. I would love to see a bit more detail, but in general, all in all, cool design. Really like the diorama. And then we have by, oh my god, how is this nickname pronounced? Fracalvieri? Maybe it's Italian, I don't know, 1,394 pieces for the Witch Cottage. And I think this is like a freeform MOC, which I always enjoy a lot. There's a ton of, I don't know, it looks a lot like, okay, somebody, I mean, yes, supposedly a witch is living in there, but it looks like, okay, you have this blank rock, and then somebody tried, you know, to grab some life out of it. So you have some plants and foliage and everything, but yeah, it's a witch hut. What I really like, I've never seen these leaf pieces used like this. So of course, I mean, there's no MOC building technique that hasn't been used by somebody else before, but at least I am seeing this for the first time. And while looking at this, I was wondering, you know, could you do like, I don't know, could you do this on a 48 by 48 base plate, like, right? How big could you go with this and still look good? But I think here next to this hut, this is an amazing building technique. It looks really, really great. But all in all, also pretty beautiful design. And like I said, it's a freeform MOC, which is really, really cool. And then last but not least, for the Europeans, the Beromünster Castle by Asmodeus. I guess the designer is from over here as well, who used actually an etching from 1642, combined what was known from the etching with the building as it stands there today, I do believe. And yeah, basically worked out on this design here with 710 pieces, and it's asking for $3 for the instructions. So if Swiss and old castles, very old castles, your cup of tea, this may be for you. With that, we are done with the show. As always, I highly appreciate wherever you listen to this, watch this, leave a like, a comment, rate, subscribe, follow, I don't know. You know the drill. It's called differently on every platform, but wherever you listen to this or watch this, please, it's highly appreciated if you support the show. And with that being said, thanks for listening. See you next week.